Hello, everyone. How's it going? Hello, hello, hello. I invite all of you to turn your videos on and unmute yourself if you want to. It doesn't, I'm not being crazy, it's one of those things that I want to interact and ask or answer all the questions and all that stuff. So if you're able to, we'd love to chat. Hi, Elise.
Hello.
How are you?
I'm doing well. How are you doing?
I'm awesome. Thank you. It's nice to see you. It's always better to talk to like faces, instead of talking to like blank screens. All right, I think that I'm going to just go ahead and dive in, and if anybody comes late, then they can watch the replay. So the whole point of this is training, info session, whatever, is like to talk about how to become a virtual assistant, like how I did it, all the things. Can you see my screen here? Yeah? Okay, cool. Let me, if I am so bad at using Google Slides, candidly. Okay, so I just created a little slide deck. It's nothing formal. So if you guys have questions throughout, feel free to just unmute yourself and I'll answer them, okay? So how to become a VA. I have been a virtual assistant. I founded Holly & Co. about 5 years ago, and I did it because I graduated. I had my master's degree and I moved to San Diego. And if you guys know anything about San Diego, it's expensive as hell to live there. So you're shaking your head, Sarah. So is that, you're close to there, I'm assuming, something like that?
Yeah, I'm from Orange County.
Okay. So I graduated my master's degree and moved down there to San Diego to be with my boyfriend at the time. And it's like, this is gonna be a breeze, right? I'm good. I got a degree, I got whatever. No, I couldn't find a job for 3 months. I sat on the couch being in my self-pity, doing the thing. So I had a friend who was like, hey, I'm becoming a virtual assistant. And I looked into it. I was like, okay, I can do that, So I started, I like bootstrapped it. I did all the things. I learned all the hard lessons and all of that stuff. And I ended up in the meantime had like a temp job, quit that temp job within like a month, 2 months, and have been on my way and owning my own business, doing my own thing ever since. So most recently, I just had a baby. He's 7 months old next week. And so it's amazing to be able to have flexibility in my schedule and all the things. It's so good. So if you don't have a kid, that's cool. If you like to travel, that's still relevant. Like whatever your life is about, like you can do anything. So let's see. I don't know if I missed one, but who can become what is a virtual assistant? That's the other slide. Virtual assistant is anybody who works online. So if you work online, whether that's becoming like a project manager online or an online business manager or a general VA or a social media manager or all the things, there's so many types of virtual assistants, and this is where the slide comes in. Who can become a VA? Anybody. If you have some sort of experience in any aspect of like administrative, project management, organization, anything. I say it here, like it's kind of sarcastic, but moms, dads, grandmas, as long as you know something about computers, grandpas, aunts, uncles, friends, like I'm sure you get my point. Anybody can be a virtual assistant. Anybody can start their business online as long as you kind of start. You just like put yourself out there. That's what I did initially. I just was like, okay, I'm going to do this. Like I bootstrapped it. I made a website. I did the things. And now I'm making way more money than I ever expected to as like a self-employed person, let alone anybody. Like I make more money now than I would in the corporate space. And I don't say that to brag, but it's nice to be able to have that freedom where I'm like, okay, I'm here. there's no way in hell, pardon my language, that I would ever go back to corporate because I have the flexibility. I get to watch my son grow up and have him and do all the things. So it's awesome. So what skills do you have? Let's turn it into a career, right? If you guys have examples of what you want to, or like any skills you have or anything like that, and we can kind of brainstorm at the end, we can totally do that too. So if anyone is willing to learn, if you're willing to kind of put yourself out there a little bit, it's so scary at first, but if you just do it, first steps are the hardest. Anybody can become a virtual assistant. So these are some of the niches, right? So there's email managers, social media managers, community outreach people, there's bookkeepers and lead generators and anything. Like there's a wide variety. If you're into sales, you can do sales online. You can do video editing and graphic design and all the things. There's so many different avenues that you can go as a virtual assistant. And so when people come to me and they're like, hey, I want to be a VA, and I'm like, okay, what skills do you have? Sometimes they're like, I don't know. But even if you dive in and you're like, hey, you know what? I love inbox zero. Cool. Like you can be an inbox manager, right? Things like that. So there's tons of options. So what equipment do you need? Computer, obviously, like we're working virtually, so you need some sort of a computer. I've seen some people work on iPads and things like that. It's not my preference because I like to be able to see the things, but you can totally run with an iPad if that works for you, as long as it has a keyboard. High-speed internet, that's one thing, because usually you'll be zooming like this back and forth, and you don't want to be cutting out and freezing and all of those things. And then if you want to live the nomadic life, obviously the cell phone is imperative, because I do a lot of my work, probably 25% of my work is on the go. I'm sitting at a nail appointment and I'm like, hey, you know, like I'm answering emails, or I'm getting a pedicure and I'm replying in Facebook groups and things like that. The flexibility, if you like are able to do things from your phone, is amazing. So I use a project management tool called Asana. They have an app for your cell phone, so you can log in directly into that and you can see all the things you need to do and all of that stuff. And then headphones. I don't use headphones for meetings like this, and you guys, I'm assuming, can probably hear me okay. I don't prefer to have them in, but I have AirPods for when I'm traveling or on the road. So there's not a lot of equipment you need. It's not a huge investment. You don't need to really invest a lot to get started. So there's no startup costs. You know, if you're going into like a network marketing company and things like that, a lot of them are have you buy some sort of a package, and you have to like start out with a kit and all of these things. Becoming a virtual assistant, most people have computers in their house nowadays because it's the way of the world. So you can totally just use what you have. How long does it take to set up your business? So I had my business. I told you, I was like, okay, I'm going to do this. And I put my mind to it and I just like did it. Within 2 weeks, I had my first client, and she was a fairly big client. I think we started out at $1,200 a month, which is pretty good for like a first client. And so one person paying me $1,200 a month just to get started, and I had like no experience virtually at all. So ignore the fact that I have a master's degree, and ignore the fact that I have degrees that like you do not need degrees to do virtual work. That is not relevant at all. I wouldn't change anything, but if I could give any advice to future people who want to get into the online space, or younger people, I would say you don't have to go to college in order to be successful. So I'm a big advocate for this. But anyway, yeah, so I started my business. I had clients within 2 weeks, and I didn't have to work day and night, right? So I was able to spend time, my ex-boyfriend, ex-husband, whatever, at the time he was an Olympic athlete. And so we traveled all the time. Like we went all over the place. We did the things, and I got to take my business with me. So it was really cool because I got to experience all of these different really cool things, and my business got to come with me, and I wasn't strapped down to a desk in somebody's office living somebody else's dream. So it was amazing. You can do it really quickly. You can start your business, or if you're like, hey, this is a side hustle, I have an hour a week to work on my business, then you get to determine that. You get to determine how fast or how slow or whatever it is. It's totally up to you. Something I always tell people though is it's never going to be perfect. So even when it is perfect, when you hit that goal, you're always going to be like, okay, but what about this? But what about this? So don't wait until it's perfect because there's no such thing. So just like take the first step, launch your business, and then after that, you'll get momentum and you'll be able to start rolling. You'll always be evolving. You'll always be growing. You'll probably go one niche and then you'll say, oh my gosh, I don't even like doing this. So you'll go to another niche. And so there's tons of options to pivot, right? So just keep that in mind. I also just realized while I was talking that my nails match the slideshow. That's funny. Let's see. How much can a virtual assistant make? So beginning pay for a virtual assistant is around $15 an hour. There's different pay scales and all of this stuff. I actually have a whole virtual assistant training program that goes to like the pay scales and how to price yourself and like what you can do and all the things. But beginning pay is around $15 an hour. You can go up to 20, 25, depending on your experience. But as you move up, you can make up to like $100 an hour. If you're good with tech and you want to go down that route, or you're a project manager or you're online business manager, things like that, you can make really good money, like better money virtually than you can most places that are like brick and mortar. So just keep that in mind. As your experience increases, so does your pay. You get to determine that. You get to decide when it's time to move up. And those conversations are sometimes hard to have when you want to like move up in pay scale, right? So if you're like, I'm charging $15 an hour right now, but I want to move up to 30, like my experience is there, whatever. That's a little bit challenging, but I have like swipe files and things that you guys can use for that too. Just keep in mind, you're a contractor, right? So you're responsible for your own taxes, your own insurance, and all of those things. Some places will, you can get a job as a virtual assistant, but you're working for somebody else. Most virtual assistants are contractors, so you're responsible for all the things for your business. So just keep that take that into consideration when you're deciding what to charge, living expenses, all the things. Like taxes are really important to pay. So just keep that in mind. Okay. How do you get started? This is like what you guys came here for, I'm sure. So this is how I got started. Identified my skill set. So I was like, I kind of like social media. I could do some social media stuff. So I did some research, watched some YouTube videos, and I started doing some social media management. I also was helping like corral information for courses. So I was taking information that was already out there for this particular client, and I would break it down into different modules and be like, okay, we need a worksheet for this, and we need this for this. And I put all that information together and made courses for it, right? And I supported their people, their customers, and their community and things like that. So you just identify your skill set, and then this is when the next step comes. Determine your offer and your pricing. So if you're like, okay, I don't want to work hourly because I don't want to use like there's Toggle and things like that. I don't want to track my hours. I hate tracking hours, candidly. I don't do it. I will not do it. Like people say, I want you to work hourly. I say no, because it's not for me. Some people it is, but I'm generally like, hey, I'm going to do a retainer package. It's going to be loosely based upon the number of hours spent, but it's like, I'm not going to hard track my hours or anything like that. So you determine your offer, your pricing structure, and then just put that out there into the world. So let's see if it's going to change. Oh, it does that. Okay, hello. Okay, there we go. Come up with a business name. This is like the hardest part of business, is coming up with a name. You're like, what do I want to do? What are names that reflect me? You know, my first business name, and it's not as bad as it could have been, but it wasn't awesome, was Benefit Virtual Assisting and Consulting. Holy mouthful, right? Like that's a lot. Like I wanted to be a benefit to the client, right? But so that's what I came up with. I didn't know. So I did it, and I got clients with that name. So, I mean, doesn't really matter what the name is, just come up with something and go with it. So then that's when you go to your state, the Secretary of State or whatever, and you apply for a DBN, doing business as DBA. That's actually what it should say, DBA. Your business name with your state. So get that. Some states charge, some states don't. It all depends on where you're at. There's resources for this, like inside my program, if you are interested in that. And I help like with that whole process because it's kind of crazy. And then after you get that, the DBA, you go to the IRS and say, hey, I want a tax ID number. And they send you an EIN. And this is going to be the golden number that they're going to ask you for a bank account, a business bank account, which I highly recommend you have. And you're going to just need it for a bunch of different legal purposes and all kinds of stuff. So that's what you got to do to be like legit with the IRS, I guess. Okay, so then what I did is I went and I was like, okay, I'm going to set up a basic website and a business page. So I went on Wix. I don't know if you guys know anything about Wix or any like website developers, but Wix is not the best, but it worked. I had somewhere to send people that was like, hey, I'm Holly. Here's my face. This is what I do. And here's how I can help you. Here's how you contact me. Let's hop on a call. That's all you need to know. People need to be able to be like, who are you? What do you offer? And how can I contact you? Easy peasy. Same thing with a Facebook business page. Facebook is huge customer driver. So if you are, if you're wanting to market yourself on Facebook, I highly recommend it. FYI, set up a business page and you can share that. So that's kind of cool. And then this goes back to that Facebook thing. Join relevant Facebook groups. There's so many Facebook groups online. There's like Dreamers and Doers, and there's VA Savvies, and there's so many. Just search the search bar of virtual assistant jobs or remote jobs, something like that. Join groups and just network with people. Don't go in there and pitch yourself, because nobody really likes one of those people, right? Nobody likes to be in there with people who are like, hey, buy my stuff. No. Go in there and add value, because when you add value, you're going to be recognized as somebody who stands out, right? So just go into Facebook groups with your personal profile. A lot of groups don't allow you to have your page. So just keep that in mind and join them, add value. And then when people are like, hey, I'm looking for a virtual assistant who does this, and you're like, hey, yeah, I think I could do that. That's your turn to move. And then also, that's when you start applying to potential client opportunities. A lot of groups use hashtag job op. So you can search that even in your Facebook search bar. And there's a lot of opportunities out there that you can dive into. So no matter if you're like, hey, I have 10 years of social media experience, or I post on my own social media. Like, if you think you can do it, start applying to those things, because it's really good practice. Like, I would encourage everyone to apply to as many things as possible to start out, so you can like hone in on your sales skills and your proposal writing and things like that. There's a lot of opportunity. So start applying. Then from there, I always recommend somebody find like an assistant or a virtual assistant mentor or a coach or somebody that's like been through the things, because there's a lot of ways to get lost online where you're like, I don't know my niche. I don't know where to find clients. I don't know how to show up online. I don't know how to market myself. I don't know a lot of things. So I always recommend everybody find a virtual assistant mentor or coach or somebody that's like been there to do it. And you're on your way. So 10th one, keep your clients happy. Obviously, we want to keep our clients around. So make sure that you are providing good service and setting you wouldn't believe the number of people who reach out to me and they're like, Holly, I want to hire a virtual assistant, but I've been so burned before. I'm like, okay, tell me more. They're like, well, I had a virtual assistant who ghosted, or I had a virtual assistant who never got the work done, or who I paid them and whatever. Like, so many bad experiences online, and people who don't have integrity are not my kind of people. So I hope that resonates with you guys, but have integrity and keep your clients happy, and just know, like, there's going to be hardship. There's going to be like hard times with your clients where they're like, oh, I don't like this, or maybe you feel like you're micromanaged or something like that. And then you get to decide how to handle that. That's the best part about owning your own business, is you get to decide. If they're too much for you, see you later. There's many other clients out there. Like, you don't have to deal with anything you don't want to deal with, and you get to decide. So just keep that in mind. Keep your people happy, but you're number one. You're number one in your business. So that's my soapbox. Always get testimonials and reviews for your portfolio. So if you have a good experience working with somebody, I'm developing a whole training on like testimonials, getting testimonials and what it looks like, and video testimonials and questions to ask and all of that stuff. And that'll be inside my program too. But get the testimonials, get the reviews, get the things. People want to see this stuff. And these things are like in place of a resume for virtual jobs. So many people are like, hey, I want to have a resume. No, like I'm virtual. Like, say, oh, I'm more than happy to send you my portfolio. Nobody really nobody sends a resume for virtual assistant jobs. So you don't have to worry about that. Nobody needs to know that you didn't graduate high school or that you, whatever. That is totally your thing. You get to keep that to yourself. And as you get clients to take a chance on you. You get the reviews and the testimonials. That's what matters. Nobody gives a hell about your resume. Okay. So I just want to share an opportunity with you guys. I think I had one more. No, I don't. Opportunity about my Joy Formula program. It's my, oh my gosh, this thing. It's my virtual assistant training program. So it's like one-stop shop training. I show you exactly the things that I did to become fully booked and I made like over $90,000 in my first year being a virtual assistant, which is so crazy to even say now, but it's amazing. So I do this program. I support you with workbooks and templates and swipe files, and my network now is huge. I worked for, in addition to my virtual assistant agency that I have now, I worked for ClickFunnels. And so I have some super killer network people, like people in my network that I love working with. So I bring in guest experts. I give unlimited access to me and via Voxer and Slack and all the different things. And then we have a Facebook group, and then any jobs that I find online, I post them for my people, because I think that that's the best way of, keeping the continuity up and giving you the opportunity to apply. So this is the first time that I'm running this version of the program. So I'm offering it at like a killer, insane, like low rate, $597, or I do a 2-payment plan. It's on there. You can go to thejoyformula.com if you want to sign up. I'm not like a high pressure salesperson. You probably can see this, but I would love, if you're interested in becoming a virtual assistant, it's super awesome opportunity. And I've made a lot of mistakes in my business, and I don't want everybody to make those. So being able to guide on the way is really cool. Let's see. Finally, where do you find clients? So I said this kind of before, Facebook groups were the biggest way of getting clients for myself initially. So I joined tons of Facebook groups, the VA Savvies, Dreamers and Doers, all the different things initially. So I had applied to be on Fiverr. I don't know if it's a remote jobs place. I had applied to be on there and they denied me. So I never did Fiverr myself, but there's options, right? So you can go to remote.co, other freelance websites. You can search for remote on job sites like Indeed or Monster.com or LinkedIn. And then I also teach a Dream 100 strategy, which is outreach. So you make a list of people that you want to work with, and then I teach you how to reach out to them in a way that makes them not be able to resist you anymore and hire you. And then networking events. So I do tons of networking events. I have one actually tomorrow. I attend them, and I've hosted some and locally, because you wouldn't believe how many people are local to you that are, one, don't know what a virtual assistant is, or that they can hire one. And that, there's so many options out there that's not bringing somebody in. They have to pay their salary and their insurance and their all the things. So there's tons of options. So networking events are amazing. So I always say find the problem and offer a solution. So if somebody is like, hey, I can't afford to bring somebody in the office, but I need some help, offer that, like figure out that solution for them. I can work for you virtually for 5 hours a week. And the perk is you don't have to pay my taxes and you don't have to pay me insurance. And there's no workman's comp, right? So keep those things in mind. Just there's always a solution to the problem. Just find it and offer it. Questions, ladies? No? All right. What did I'm gonna stop sharing here. All right. No questions at all? You don't have anything to ask me? It's easy. Okay. Have you guys considered being a virtual assistant for a while, or what are your thoughts?
I think for a few months now, or maybe 6 months. But now, especially just because I recently got laid off from my job. And so I have like a side hustle that's kind of becoming my full-time thing right now, but I still have enough time where I would like to fill those hours and the days with something else as well. So I could be kind of doing two things. So yeah, that's what it's kind of been for me so far.
Yeah. What is your side hustle, or what are you doing that's becoming?
I do wedding dress preservation. So we clean and preserve wedding dresses in Idaho. Yeah.
No, you don't. Are you in Idaho?
Yeah.
You are. I remember you're in the Boise group. Oh my gosh, that's amazing. I'm getting married in Vegas in October.
Oh, exciting. Yeah. Well, come see me after your big day. So
yeah. That's so cool. Cool. Elise, what about you? Any questions? I know your mom's like put the bug in your ear a lot. So
Yeah, my mom thinks I'll be a good fit because I do a lot of stuff online already.
Yeah.
So I already know how to do a lot of the stuff.
Yeah.
It's just more of, I don't know what to do from there.
Yeah, I know. It's like so weird to get started where you're like, okay, I have an idea, but where do I go?
Yeah.
So it's kind of wild for sure. But it's virtual assisting's been amazing. There's so many ways that you can scale as a virtual assistant. So if you don't really have a lot of experience online, you can start out kind of generally and then you niche down, right? And then you're like, hell yeah, I nailed this. Let me go to the next thing. And you become like a project manager or an online business manager where you can do things like if that fits you, or if you're tech savvy, then you can go and be a tech VA and like be at that different scale of pay. And there's tons of options. So many like people are like, I don't think I can work online. I don't know why. I don't know why you say that. So it's kind of funny, but awesome. Any other questions, ladies? No?
I don't think so. Your information has been super helpful. So thank you.
Good. Yeah, of course. And if you guys have any questions about my program or anything, it's starting up next Tuesday. I'm going to start to do the first training and all that stuff. So I would love to have you both in there. Everybody in there that you possibly can think of. It's super affordable because most programs are like $2,000. And I'm like, I just don't think that people are starting out. Like doesn't make sense. So I want to make it affordable and available. So
awesome. Thank you.
Yeah, of course. Of course. If you guys have any other questions, feel free to reach out to me on Facebook or anywhere. Okay.
Sounds good. Thank you.
All right.
Of course. Yeah. Have a great day.
You too.
Bye.
Goodbye.